I used to believe that love was simple. You meet someone, you care, you give your heart, and they stay. That's how it works, right? Her name was Aisha. The first time I saw her, she was standing in the rain, laughing like the world had never hurt her. Her hair was wet, her eyes shining, and in that moment, I didn't fall in love. I surrendered. She wasn't just beautiful, she felt safe. We started talking as friends. Late-night chats, random jokes, deep conversations about life, fears, childhood memories. She told me she was scared of being left. I told her I was scared of being replaced. She promised, "I would never hurt you," and I believed her. I gave her everything. Not money, not gifts, but loyalty. The kind of loyalty that doesn't look left or right. The kind that defends you even when you're wrong. The kind that chooses you every single day. She used to say, "You're different," and I was proud of that. Months passed. We built dreams together. We talked about a small house with white curtains. She wanted a balcony with plants. I wanted a quiet life with her laughter filling the rooms. She said, "You're my forever." But forever has a strange habit of changing its mind. It started slowly. Shorter replies, less excitement, more "I'm busy." At first, I ignored it. Love makes you blind in the most beautiful and dangerous ways. Then came the distance. She stopped telling me about her day. She stopped asking about mine. I felt it, that cold shift. One night I asked her, "Is everything okay?" She replied, "You're overthinking." That sentence hurt more than silence. Because I wasn't overthinking. I was losing her. Weeks later, I found out. There was someone else. Someone new, someone exciting. Someone who didn't know her scars like I did. She didn't confess. I discovered it. And when I did, my world didn't explode, it collapsed quietly. I didn't scream, I didn't beg, I didn't create drama. I just asked one question. Was I not enough? She couldn't look into my eyes. She said, "You're perfect, but I changed." That was the night I learned something painful. Sometimes you can be perfect for someone and still not be chosen. I walked away, not because I was strong, but because I had no energy left to fight for someone who had already let go. The nights after that were the darkest of my life. I would stare at our old messages, replay her voice notes, remember the way she used to say my name. I questioned myself. Was I too soft, too available, too loving? Maybe I should have been colder. Maybe I should have made her chase me. But love isn't a game. At least, it wasn't for me. I stopped going out, stopped smiling, stopped believing in promises. Then, one morning, I looked at myself in the mirror. Red eyes, tired face, broken confidence. And I asked myself something different. What if this pain is not the end, but the beginning? That day changed everything. I decided something powerful. If she could walk away so easily, I would make sure no one could ever walk over me again. Not with anger, with growth. I started waking up at 5 a.m. At first, it was torture. My body was weak, my mind heavy, but I forced myself. I began running, not from memories, but toward a stronger version of me. I joined a gym. Every drop of sweat felt like a tear leaving my body. Every rep felt like I was lifting the weight she left on my heart. I started reading. Books about discipline, books about self-respect, books about emotional strength. I realized something shocking. I had loved her more than I loved myself. That was my mistake. Love should add to you, not erase you. Months passed. I transformed. My body changed. My mindset changed. My circle changed. I stopped posting sad quotes. I stopped stalking her profile. I stopped caring about who replaced me because I was no longer replaceable. One day, I saw her in a cafe. She looked surprised. I looked calm. She noticed the difference immediately. "You look different," she said. I smiled. People grow. There was silence between us. Not awkward, just unfamiliar. She asked about my life. I told her about my business, my routine, my goals. She listened carefully. Then she said something I never expected. "I didn't think you'd move on so fast." I laughed softly. This wasn't moving on. This was leveling up. She looked at me the way she used to in the beginning, but this time I didn't feel butterflies. I felt clarity. She confessed that the other guy wasn't what she expected, that he didn't treat her like I did, that she missed the safety I gave her. For a moment, the old feelings tried to return, but I remembered the nights I cried alone. I remembered asking if I was enough. I remembered rebuilding myself from nothing, and I understood something powerful. Sometimes the best revenge isn't making someone regret losing you. It's reaching a place where you don't need them to regret it at all. She asked, "Can we try again?" That question once would have healed me. Now it tested me. I looked at her carefully. She was beautiful, familiar, comforting. But she was also the chapter that taught me pain, and I had already turned the page. I said gently, "I don't hate you, but I love myself more now." Her eyes filled with tears, not because I hurt her, but because she realized I was no longer hers. I walked away peacefully. No anger, no pride, no revenge speech, just dignity. That night, she texted, "I miss us." I replied, "I don't miss who I was." That was the real revenge. Not winning her back, but winning myself back. Years later, people ask me how I became so disciplined, so calm, so unstoppable. I smile and say, heartbreak. Because heartbreak didn't destroy me, it introduced me to my strongest version. And sometimes, when I think of her, I don't feel pain. I feel gratitude. She broke me. So I built myself. Stronger, smarter, unshakable. And that was the most romantic revenge of all. Not hurting her, but becoming a man she could never have again. Years passed. Not days, not months, years. Life didn't stop after she left. It forced me to move. I built everything I once promised her, but alone. The small apartment? I bought it. The balcony with plants? It was there. White curtains dancing in the wind? Exactly how she imagined. The only thing missing was her. But strangely, I wasn't empty anymore. One evening, I received a message from an unknown number. "Hi, is this still your number?" I knew. Some instincts never die. It was her. My heart didn't race. It didn't shatter. It stayed calm. "I heard you're doing well," she wrote. I stared at the screen. Once upon a time, one message from her could fix my entire mood. Now, it felt like a notification. Nothing more. I replied politely, "Yes, I'm doing fine. Hope you're doing well too." She started texting more frequently after that. Casual conversations at first, then longer ones, then late-night memories. "Do you remember the rain?" she asked once. I did. I remembered everything. But I didn't say that. I simply replied, "Some memories don't fade." One night she called. Her voice trembled. I made a mistake. There it was, the sentence I once waited for. But life is ironic. By the time apologies arrive, the pain has already healed. She told me about her failed relationships, about betrayal, about how she finally understood my loyalty. "I didn't value you," she whispered. Silence filled the line. Not heavy, just honest. Then she said something that shook the past. "No one ever loved me the way you did." And for a second, I felt that old warmth, that old pull. But I had grown. Love without self-respect is self-destruction. She asked to meet. I agreed. Not for romance, for closure. We met at the same cafe. Different people, same place. She looked older, not in age, in experience. Pain had touched her too. She smiled softly. "You really changed." I nodded. "So did you." We talked for hours. About growth, about mistakes, about timing. She confessed she used to compare every man to me, and they all failed, because they weren't me. I listened quietly, not with pride, but with understanding. Then she asked the question that could rewrite everything. "If I say I still love you, what would you say?" The younger me would have hugged her instantly. The broken me would have forgiven everything. But the rebuilt me, he thought carefully. "I don't hate you," I said softly. She waited. "I just can't love you the same way again." Her eyes filled with tears, not dramatic tears, real ones. "I've changed," she said. "I can prove it." I smiled gently. "I believe you." She looked confused. "Then why not try again?" I took a deep breath. Because sometimes love isn't about who changed, it's about who left. Silence. The kind that ends chapters. I stood up slowly. She grabbed my hand, just like the old days. But this time, I didn't hold back because I was hurt. I let go because I was healed. "You were my first love," I said honestly, "and my biggest lesson." Tears rolled down her cheeks. "And you were my biggest mistake," she whispered about herself. I shook my head. "No, you were my transformation." She broke me, but in breaking me, she introduced me to discipline, to ambition, to self-worth. Without her leaving, I might have stayed comfortable, weak, dependent. I thanked her. Yes, I thanked her for the pain, for the silence, for choosing someone else, because that decision forced me to choose myself. I walked out of the cafe one last time, not with anger, not with revenge, but with power. Weeks later, I heard she moved to another city. She sent one final message. "I hope one day someone loves me the way you did." I replied, "I hope one day you love someone the way I deserved." That was it. No glocking, no drama, just closure. Years passed again. I met someone new. Not quickly, not desperately, but peacefully. This time, I didn't lose myself in love. I kept my standards, my boundaries, my strength. And when this new girl looked at me and said, "I feel safe with you," I smiled. Because now, I felt safe with myself, too. And one random afternoon, while watering the balcony plants, I realized something powerful. Revenge is not about making someone regret losing you. It's about reaching a level where you don't need them to regret it. She once chose someone else. Now, I choose myself. That's the ending. Not dramatic, not explosive, just powerful. Because the strongest revenge is peace. And the most romantic love story is the one where you don't abandon yourself for someone else. She was my heartbreak, But I became my comeback. And that was the final chapter.